On Thursday, Governor Mills presented her State of the State address to the people of Maine. It was a chance for her to recognize that Mainers are going through unprecedented difficulties in unparalleled times, much of which unfortunately has to do with the administration's policies. Instead, the picture that Governor Mills painted was a rosy one. It was, of course, her perspective, and that is probably the biggest problem. Hello, I'm Senator Jeff Timberlake of Androscoggin County and the Senate Republican leader, and it's my pleasure to join you for this week's Republican radio address. If you were to take Governor Mills' remarks as a whole, she seemed not to have a grasp of what was happening across our state, nor the struggles being endured by everyday Mainers. When it comes to just living here in Maine, it's much harder now than just a year ago. But that's not what I want to talk about today. It's the stories of Mainers across the state that I want to share. Hardships many are experienced are due to policies that have been largely in place for the past 2 years. Difficulties that have become even more so because of how this current administration is running our government. We've heard from a single mother of 3 who can't afford to purchase wood to heat her home. We've heard from those who are unemployed, still being unable to reach anyone at the Department of Labor for help, even for something as simple as to reset a password. We've heard from those who were forced out of work due to COVID-19 restrictions 2 years ago and are still unable to get their benefits. Why, after 2 years of this, are these issues still a problem for that department? We've also heard about Mainers who can't see loved ones in hospitals or our beloved elderly relatives in nursing homes. No one should die alone, and family members should never have to live without a chance to say goodbye. We also hear about elderly residents who can't see their spouses because the only nursing home with availability is too far away to visit. Both are left lonesome from the other. Or the mother who went in for a sonogram and upon getting devastating news had to undergo procedures without the benefit of even having her partner there alongside her to endure it. Or the record number of suicides and drug overdoses and mental health emergencies last year. Governor Mills didn't address any of that. Maybe she didn't want to admit that 2 years of policies that promote isolation and the loss of hope contributed to that. And just how the death of 25 children under the care of the Department of Health and Human Services happened, regardless of how we beefed up child welfare services ombudsmen. It won't matter. We don't address the lack of transparency in that department. We've heard from homeowners and businesses alike who are struggling with their electric bills in January. For homeowners who generation rates went up 80%. For businesses, they went up a shocking 300%, putting businesses at a renewed risk of closure. And speaking of businesses, we're hearing they still can't get straight COVID guidance. And businesses' unemployment tax rates have risen by 6%. So much for the governor's claim that she hasn't risen taxes. And why is it that they can't find workers when Maine's unemployment rate ranks 33rd in the nation? It's the 4th highest in New England and is 80% higher than our neighbor to the south. That doesn't square up either. And finally, there is the final accounting for nearly $15 billion of federal money that was given to this state. It's nice to view the situation here in Maine through those lenses of rose-colored glasses. That's what Governor Mills cleverly accomplished in her address, but that's not reality. Here's what is. Republicans have been at the forefront of giving excess revenue back to taxpayers. We fought for it last year, and we're glad the governor listened again for her expected supplemental budget, but she's solving the wrong problem. We need to reform our tax structure from income and sales taxes so that you get to keep more of your money for you and your family. That will make Maine more competitive with not just New England, but the rest of the country. We also need to reduce our spending and adjust for inflation to match tax cuts, or future generations will be saddled with an unsustainable financial cliffs that we'll be creating today. We need to lift the shrouds and make transparency a mantra. across all government agencies to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, and most importantly, incompetence. And finally, we need to reform how we deliver affordable health care in Maine. There are hospitals and healthcare systems in Maine that are still not complying with hospital price transparency rule that was put in place last year. If we want to reduce the healthcare costs in Maine, transparent pricing is key. Again, I am Senator Jeff Timberlake of Androscoggin County. Have a great weekend.